Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorda, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today, and if you want to call in and ask questions, 323-870-3857. Let's get started with it, baby. Netflix. Beeb, Netflix in the boxing game, man. How about that? Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, 8 rounds, heavyweights. Beeb, first of all, let me ask you first, did your stream go out on you on this?
It was buffering an awful lot.
We were lucky. We were one of the lucky ones. Our stream didn't buffer at all through any of the fights or anything like that. So I was definitely one, but I heard a lot of people. I had cousins calling me and stuff like that. Hey, it's buffering. What do you do? You know, and that kind of thing. A lot of people. There was reports that they had like 120 million, but I think that was like overall view. I don't know if it was. I don't know, but at the peak of the fight, I think they had 65 million or something like that. That's a lot of people watching.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, right?
That's an awful lot of people.
Jeez, that's a ton. All right, let's get into it, man. Jake Paul wins a unanimous decision over Mike Tyson by the scores of 80-72, 79-73 twice. I had the fight scored 79-73 for Paul. I gave the first round to Tyson. I thought he did pretty well. I thought he kept Jake at bay, to be honest with you. He landed a couple of good shots on Paul, but nothing real significant. It was very noticeable, though, that even if Tyson would have landed a clean shot, Paul probably wouldn't have gone anywhere. There was no speed on his punches. He had just dramatically slowed down, which he's 58, hasn't fought in 40 years. Yeah, that's going to happen. I was shocked at how many people thought Tyson was actually going to like win this fight and go out. I mean, like knock him out within 30 seconds or a round or something like that. 58.
I think
it's old.
I think people had expectations like this was really going to be a real fight. And
well, it was. I mean, it was. I mean, they had instead of wearing 10-ounce gloves, they were wearing 14-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
Instead of 3-minute rounds, there were 2-minute rounds. Instead of 10 rounds, it was 8 rounds.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I believe both men had kind of a gentleman's agreement. Like, we're not going to go out there and try to hurt each other. This to me was more
for sure.
To me, this was like a sparring session. And, you know, if Jake did decide to take this as if it was a real fight, I think Tyson would have got really hurt because definitely his legs are gone. And it's funny. Yeah, it's funny. This guy on Twitter, Eric, shout out to Eric Raskin, a boxing guy on Twitter. He goes, anytime, you know, you see a guy going into the ring with a knee brace, definitely don't put money on that guy. And that's right then and there, that tells you like something is wrong. And, you know, people really bought into this thing. Like this was going to be like, a barn burner of type of fight. And I think we said this like, a
billion times
in the weeks and months leading up to this fight. Guys, this is just going to be kind of like, okay, technically it's a real fight on the record, but it
just shouldn't have been.
There were silent agreements and undisclosed agreements made between both men, and you could tell that was the case. You know,
for sure. What was it? Right about the 4th round. All right, you notice Tyson was moving forward the whole fight, and then right around the 3rd round and 4th round, you could see he's not moving anymore. He's standing in the middle of the ring. Yeah. He's waiting to come in for counters or whatever.
He was tired. He was breathing heavy.
Dead. He was dead tired. And, you know, again, man, like I said, man, when, he wasn't coming forward. He wasn't even punching. He wasn't even, that was taking it out of him. If Jake Paul decided to press him, he would have got him out of there. No
and Jake
question.
And me and my brother were watching the fight. We're noticing. We're like Jake's not even turning his shots over. He's just kind of like
he's just kind of jabbing at him.
Yeah, he's just,
And I said during that fight, I said, if he gets knocked out, if he knocks out Tyson, it's going to be unintentional. because he's not trying to. He's definitely carrying him.
That's funny,
right? I mean, he's
That's
definitely carrying him. You know,
So
it's
the thing was, we're gonna go the full 8. We're not gonna hurt each other.
yeah,
I'm gonna put you over, Jake. You're gonna, whatever. You're gonna win.
right.
Just let me go. Just let me go the 8 rounds. Don't take liberties with me. And that was it.
Right. And I thought that
People
was good.
were so mad after the fight. Like, what did you expect?
Did you honestly
think? What the fuck did you expect?
I'm gonna tell you what they expect because they saw that press conference. They saw Tyson slap him. I guess Jake stepped on his foot or something like that. I don't know if it was planned or not. It looked planned to me, but as it came back, it looked like he did step on his foot, and he, just kind of chucked him a little bit,
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a brutal slap or anything like that, but I think that got everybody riled up too as well, and oh man, he's mad. Oh, you did it now.
Yeah, and you have to understand, like a lot of people were kind of watching this fight that they weren't really big boxing fans.
They had no idea,
and so they kind of bought into
it. And that's okay, and it's okay to have that perception going in. It's more fun that way, honestly, it is more fun that way. But and that's kind of like, with us, we kind of knew. I mean, we told you what was going to happen.
I was like, even when I was a kid and I used to watch WWF, even at 10, 11 years old, I knew it wasn't real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no one had to tell me it wasn't real. Like, I said to myself, if anyone really did this to somebody for real, these guys would be in the hospital. They would not be able to walk around the next day or the next week or the next month. So,
what I always liked about the wrestling is that when they threw him against the ropes, like they bounced off the ropes. Like that would ever have, like he had that much strength to throw him against the rope, and he bounces off the ropes to come back.
You're grabbing someone's head and you smash it into a turnbuckle that's a pad. How much how is that supposed to hurt?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this to talk trash. I love watching wrestling.
I love wrestling.
It's like a play to me. It's like watching a theater play to me. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And those guys, let me tell you, the guys in the WWE and in the other, what is it, AEW, I think is the other one.
Yeah.
All the independents, those guys are talented. They're really talented, and they're professional athletes. I don't care what you
Great athletes. They're taking bumps.
Athletes, man. And there's nothing fake about what they do.
Yeah, there's nothing fake about taking the bumps.
Yeah, but when you see crazy outcomes and stuff, that's what you think of, wrestling, Boxing, thank you so much. Beeb, who is thicker, Manny Pacquiao or Mike Tyson? There you go.
I'm not gonna answer these.
Oh, come on, Beeb.
These questions.
Beeb, you have to. Come on, who's thicker?
Obviously, Mike Tyson's the bigger man. Let's be serious.
Beeb's had them both. He said Tyson is.
Whoa!
That's what you said. That's what you just said. Did you not just say that? Am I right? Did you not just say that? That's what you just said. What's the matter with you?
Taking this to a place it shouldn't be going.
Those guys and gals are talented, Lord. That's right. Tony Yayo hits it right on the head. Those wrestlers are talented. Jake Paul at the press. I don't know if you caught the post-fight press conference or not, but he definitely. He carried him forward. I mean, we all saw he was carrying him, and he admitted
the fourth wall.
Yeah, that's right.
He broke the kayfabe.
That's right. That's right. He just threw kayfabe right out the window, and admitted, as much that he kind of stepped off the gas. And it wasn't, he wasn't trying to get him out of there. Overall, like I said, it was most of us expected. Listen, man, a 58-year-old just cannot compete against a younger guy who does this. And again, even if that guy is Jake Paul, and Jake Paul, we forget, he's had about 5 years of boxing experience now.
My brother, after the fight, my brother looks over at me and he goes, Joe, can you beat up Mike Tyson now? I said, don't you realize I'm fucking old too? I'm only 3 years younger than the guy, bro.
I think your brother could beat up Mike Tyson. I don't know about that. I don't know about you beating up Mike Tyson. I don't know about me beating up Mike Tyson, but I think that your brother could probably take him.
Yeah.
All right. Does Montero beat Mike Tyson?
Right now?
Nah, I don't think so. I'd
give him the edge. I'd give him the edge.
Give him the edge? Montero's old too. Montero's
really, Montero's 40. Montero's 40.
Dude, no, he doesn't know. I don't think so.
No?
Man.
Okay.
I love Montero, man, but no.
I think Montero can edge him.
You think he's stupid?
Pitch being on.
He said if Montero gets out of those first 2 rounds, I think he's get the edge.
Edge him out, man.
You know, that's what surprised me too, is that when I saw him in that first round, when I saw Tyson, and he landed a couple good shots. I think he landed a couple of lefts on him or something like that. But they were good shots, but they weren't, killer shots.
Yeah.
But I was watching him, and I was watching him in that first round. I said, you know what? Even if he lands a hard shot, even if he lands a picture-perfect shot with that right hand, Paul's not going to go anywhere. He doesn't have anything on those punches. I don't think he has enough to put him out. You know what I mean? Because Paul's a big dude too, and he's younger, and he's, amped up just as much as Mike was. Yeah, 58, man, is just, you can't compete. It almost reminded me, it wasn't as bad, obviously, as Larry Holmes versus Muhammad Ali, but they said Mike Tyson, all right, you guys starting something, Lorna's saying Montero is washed. He's not washed. I'm not saying he's washed. I mean, but he's been inactive too. He's been inactive.
Giving him credit, man.
He's been inactive too. I'm just saying. I'm just being a handicapper here. I'm just saying. I would probably favor Tyson that.
Where do I tell Montero how you're trashing him all of a sudden?
Oh, look at you. Yeah, you used to trash Montero constantly. And it'd be a baby when he came on the show. Oh, Mike. Oh, you're so good. I never said any of this stuff, Mike.
I'm a huge Montero
fan. Knowing you were trashing him right behind his
back. He's been on my security detail for years.
That
guy's been on my security detail for years. I've always used him.
He's been on your security detail. Is that what you just said? He's been on your security detail.
Correct.
Because you're mobbed. Yeah, right.
You think I can walk around in certain areas? I've been doing this show for 8 years. You don't think I'm a personality? Please.
Right up in Boston, man.
I think this is. I go to Planet Fitness. I get friggin' swarmed.
Did you see that Boston voted unanimously for Harris in that election? That was all blue. Like every county in Boston. It was like one of the. It was the only one.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
In Revere, she only beat Trump by like 6 percentage point in Revere.
That's awesome, man.
It was pretty close in Revere.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
We're the most liberal. We're more liberal than California.
Are you guys like #1 in education throughout, like in the country? I think
we have like Harvard. We got I
know you got those. But
MIT.
Yeah, you got a lot of big.
You talking about our like high school and
schools in general? I think just schools in general. I don't know.
I know our colleges are really good. We have Northeastern. Our schools are okay in certain areas. We have some work to do though in our school system.
Where did you graduate from?
Everett High School.
Everett High School. Okay,
correct.
I got
you. You know who went to Everett High? Dan Ross. Guy that played on the
Bengals. Yeah, Bengals. That's right. I remember that. I do remember that, man.
Yeah, we always had a good sports program, particularly football. We had a great
Ross
football.
Is awesome. Yeah,
we had a great football team. Like we would beat a lot of people in football.
I got his football card hanging up in the basement downstairs.
Yeah, he's from Everett.
Awesome. Love that.
Guy, he passed away at a pretty young age too.
Yeah,
pretty sad.
Omar Rodriguez just said Boston is the San Francisco of the East.
Well, let's not get carried away there, okay?
Yeah, man. So the Tyson fight didn't go as planned for a lot of people, and I told a lot of people too that Tyson was a shot fighter 20 years ago. He didn't. You don't magically get better when your reflexes are shot. You just it doesn't come back.
No, this was a tough one.
Yeah, this is a tough one. It was tough to watch too, and I'm glad, like I said, I didn't want to see him get knocked out. I just wanted, like I said, and I predicted Paul by a decision, because I that's what I thought. I didn't think he was going to be able to knock him out, but if he, like I said, if he had pressed him, he would have definitely knocked him out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see that, but
he could have hurt him if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I don't think he wanted to do that. Yeah. Think about it though, right? If he was to really go out and hurt Mike Tyson, his stock
plummets. I think his stock plummets.
No one's going to forgive him for that, right?
No, they didn't forgive Larry Holmes. They didn't forgive Larry Holmes for beating.
Oh, he was hated. He was hated.
Oh, and Holmes loved Ali. That's what nobody understands. Like, he loved Ali, man. But he got to do what he got to do.
He was kind of somewhat pulling his punches in that fight, and he kept begging the referee to stop it.
And he was just hitting him in the body at the end, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just a lot of body shots more than anything.
That was painful. That was one of the most painful fights. You know what was another painful fight to watch? Sugar Ray Leonard versus Hector Camacho.
I was going to say Terry Norris, but
that was a tough one too.
But Terry Norris was good. Hector Camacho was like way past his prime too. Yeah. And to watch him beat Leonard like that, that was a tough one to watch.
Plus, Ray Leonard had like a torn calf going into that fight, and he was getting like shots.
Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses for him. He lost.
Saw the medical reports.
Yeah, you didn't see anything.
I'll pull them up.
Stop it.
I will pull them up. He was at Mass General the week before the fight.
Always defending Ray Leonard. I love Ray Leonard too, but I'm not defending him on that. He lost to Hagler. He got blown out by Terry Norris, and he got blown out by Hector Camacho.
He was the Hagler, man. That was a masterpiece.
Stop.
Shouldn't even have been a split decision. That was a clear win.
Clear win. Overall, man, let me ask you this. Was it good for boxing?
I don't think it hurt it.
I think it was great for boxing. I'll be honest, man. Listen, man, I'll tell you, it's like this, man. I had people at work talking about this fight all day.
Everyone was talking about it.
Not like secretaries talking to me about this, you know, like secretaries, people that I've, never talked boxing with at all. People that you would not even imagine would ever watch a fight talking about this fight.
Every news station,
every
news, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
So
Sugar Lee Groves said, food for thought. In 1988, this is interesting. Tyson fought a 38-year-old Larry Holmes, who was thought to be well past his prime. On Friday, Tyson was 20 years older than Holmes in 1988. Yeah. That's amazing. That is an amazing stat. Yeah.
And the thing too is Tyson did look in phenomenal shape, didn't he?
Yeah. Sure. And look, we knew he was going to, I figured he was going to come in good shape. I didn't think he looked good. But you remember just like all the clips that we saw, they're all like 10-second clips.
Exactly.
10 to 30-second clips.
30-second clips, yeah.
I can look like a killer on the bag in 10 seconds. You know what I mean?
Let's not get carried away.
I mean, listen, even Joe can look good on the bag in 10 seconds. And we got camera work. The people at Beeb Industries, they're great. All right, they can make Joe look like a superstar on the bag in 10 seconds.
Do a lot of editing.
A ton of editing.
I'm going to hit the speed bag. You take the camera and put it on 2X.
That's right. But yeah, man, I'll tell you what, it was it was bad. I think it was good for boxing though. I think it brought so many eyes to the sport.
Of course.
Now, even if a lot of them don't come back to watch it again, it doesn't matter. Plus all the people on that undercard, they got that, everybody saw them fight. So, there you go. Let's talk about Netflix for a minute here. I thought the production was really good. I think they need a lot of work. I know Holyfield's mic went out or his earpiece went out.
Yeah, there's a couple of issues.
Some audio issues and stuff like that. All that aside, it was good, man. I thought it was pretty good. I like the ring walks, the entrances when they were on the catwalk or whatever, and it was like the it was like a lot of WWE almost. Like with the production, with the animations on the walkway and stuff like that. I thought that was really good.
That was cool.
The look, everything I thought was really good. Except those announcers sucked. Oh my God, they were awful.
Listen,
Rosie Perez just should never announce a fight.
She was great in the movie. White men we can't jump. And
I didn't think she was that good in that one either.
And do the right thing.
I didn't think she was that good in Do the Right Thing either.
Buddy, these were classic movies. What are you talking about?
They were classic movies. I didn't think she had a good, I didn't think she was that good in them. I thought Harrelson was good in White Man. I thought Wesley Snipes was good in White Man Can't Jump. I thought Spike Lee was good in Do the Right Thing. I didn't really care for Rosie Perez's parts in either one.
When you win, you really lose. And sometimes it's a tie.
Stupid. Let me tell you what, that voice makes me want to kill puppies.
I know that voice.
All right, it's like the Latin Fran Drescher. All right, she's awful. Yeah. She sucks.
Voice does. Remember I text you. I said her voice just grates on me.
Yeah,
she's doing the commentary.
It's just like nails on a chalkboard. Just shut up. Shut her up already. you know, and she didn't know anything about what she was. She didn't know what she was talking about. She was complete casual, and she knows more than the average person. But she's, come on, stop.
Yeah, she's not a commentator.
No. Mauro Ranallo was the other one that surprised me. I usually like Mauro's commentary and stuff like that. He's usually pretty good, but every 5 seconds with those corny lines,
they were becoming forced after a while too. Like he was just trying too hard to be like funny, like this, like doing like a stand-up bit or something. It's not.
They're not here to listen to you. They're not here to see you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not the star. You're supposed to put the shine on the guys in the ring, not you.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Mamma mia. This place has got more hooks than a pirate convention. You know, just dumb lines, man, coming off. It's like, come on, man. Tony Yayo said he missed the 2 chicks fighting because of the buffering. That's right.
That was a great fight.
So the attendance in Texas Stadium, 72,300. The record in Texas Stadium was Canelo, which let's see, the record was Canelo with 73,216. So that's still pretty good company, right?
Oh, yeah.
The fight peaked, the Tyson-Paul fight peaked at 65 million viewers. This made it the 10th most watched event in sporting event in history. The highest boxing event was Ali Leon Spinks, and that had 2 billion viewers. That was ranked number 5. All right. The Messi World Cup was the top one with 5.4 billion viewers. So. Wow. Soccer. Yeah, I knew soccer and the Olympics were going to be up there. Sure. But to even have that place on the mantle at 10, I mean, it's insane, right? That's a lot. No, you know, after the fight, Paul said something interesting. And I believe he called out Canelo and somebody else. And he said, I'm the money man in boxing. It's kind of hard to argue that now. Who's bigger? Honestly. In boxing right now, he's the biggest star there is, like it or not. He's bigger than Canelo. He's bigger than Tavis.
You think he's bigger than Canelo?
He's absolutely bigger than Canelo. I don't see Canelo on that top 10 list. He's never had 65 million people watching his stuff. He's absolutely the biggest.
Do you think that was more him, or do you think that was more Tyson?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, can you imagine, just for instance, if he fought Canelo, if Jake Paul fought Canelo?
You know,
I mean, because it's that, if I'm telling you right now, and I know Canelo doesn't want to fight him, but if you want some money, that's money. All right.
You know, a lot of fans, they're getting mad because they're seeing like guys like even Archer Beterbiev called him out. And
that fight's not going to happen. Antonio said that to me. He was like, "Did you see Beterbiev called him out?" I'm like, "Yeah, that fight's not happening."
And then people are like, "Oh, that makes Beterbiev look bad." But people, here's the thing. I think when you look at fighters like Beterbiev, Ward, Froch, these are fighters that called him out. These are guys who had amateur backgrounds. They come up through the system. These are a fight fans fighter, right?
Yeah.
So when a guy like Beterbiev or Ward or Froch calls this guy out, it's almost like they want to make a statement like, this is where what boxing is supposed to be. This guy's just a circus show. Yeah. It's almost like they want to like expose him, and just kind of pull back the curtain on this guy and let people know like this is not what real boxing is. No shade to this guy, but
but joke is like everybody knows, knows, and that's why they tune in to see him get knocked out. He's got the Floyd Mayweather that most hated guy on, again, because he takes a legend out there and just rips him,
So one of these guys wants to be the guy to actually show him what's up and knock him out.
Yeah.
And let him know that this is what a real fighter is.
Yes.
You're just a circus act. And that's
he's not doing it. He's not taking that.
He's not going to do it. And I wouldn't do it either if I was him.
No.
Do you think Andre Ward, if he came out of retirement right now at 40 years old, could beat Jake Paul?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Andre Ward. I imagine he looks like he stays in pretty good shape. Yeah. And Andre Ward, man, again, you watched him in those two fights with Kovalev, and both fights, you could see the dog. He wasn't. This guy grinds, man. He's used to that grind, and that doesn't bother him. And he's in much better shape than Tyson, I believe. Much younger, obviously, 20 years, almost 20 years younger. So yeah, and Ward hasn't been out that long. You know what I mean? And he's still in the game somewhat. Yeah, I think Froch, I think Ward, I think any one of those guys beat him.
Yeah.
You know. But let me tell you what. Terrence Crawford looking for a big fight. You know, listen, you know, you're not going to get that Canelo fight. Start hedging your chips, man. Start moving your chips over. And I can't hate on it. I really can't hate on it, you know, because again, you know, these guys are about that money. They're about the, you know, Terrence Crawford wants that big check. And Canelo, I know, doesn't need the money. But, man, you talk about $200 million. You'll get $200 million in that fight.
Yeah.
No question. You got all the Mexican fans. You got the sideshow, that all the Paul fans that come with him, which is not a, you know, no drop in the bucket here. You know, I think I think that fight could possibly happen. I know it's crazy, but if Canelo, you know, looks at the bottom line, the money, that fight may happen.
Yeah.
What do you want to see happen next with this?
With Jake Paul?
Yeah. Do you just want to see him go away, or do you know?
No, I don't mind Jake Paul. I take him for what he is.
Yeah.
I think he's an okay fighter. I think he's a pretty decent fighter. Will he ever be a world champion? I agree with Eddie Hearn. I don't think he'll ever be a full-fledged, you know, official world champion. But
well, the only boxer he's fought, I mean, realistically, the only active boxer he's fought beat him.
Tommy Fury.
Yeah. And Tommy Fury was, you know, not that good either, you know, but he was fighting. He was a legitimate guy.
Sure.
He was fighting legitimate fighters. You know,
but
I don't have any problem with that.
If one of those guys like Beterbiev or Canelo, I think Canelo, even though he's a lot smaller than him, I think Canelo would hurt him.
Canelo ragdolls Jake Paul.
Yeah, he would hurt him.
Yeah, he would hurt him. And I think Canelo's mean. You know, Canelo, there's not going to be any gentleman's agreement with Jake Paul.
No,
Canelo's mean. Canelo will hurt him, you know. That's something he's got to know going in. That's something Paul's got to know going in. This wouldn't be you know. But I mean, can you imagine the build up for it? The build up for it would be amazing, you know, and you know, and 200, I can't even fathom how much money they would get. This would break pay-per-view records, I believe. That would break pay-per-view records.
Yeah, that'd be,
because you're talking about a guy who can actually, he still does it at a fairly high level, you know. And I know with Canelo there's been some slippage, but he still does it at a fairly high level.
What about Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor?
Paul said he wanted to do it in the cage. Yeah, Conor, even with Conor now, yeah, Conor kills that guy.
Yeah,
Conor kills it. I'll never forget, like in that build up with the Floyd Conor fight, right? That build up, Conor looked at Floyd and said, you know, if this was a real fight, you'd be dead.
Yeah,
and he's 100% right.
Yeah,
because he would have strangled him or kicked him in the face or something like that. I mean, there was nothing Floyd could have done.
Sure.
In a real fight against McGregor, nothing.
I agree.
I mean, it would have been a complete whitewash.
I'd love to see that Canelo. I'd like to see that Canelo versus Jake Paul fight. I think that'd be fun.
Right? Wouldn't that be that's a fun fight? I mean, because listen, who's Canelo going to fight next? Eubank? I mean, really, who's he going to fight? There's nobody out there.
Yeah.
There's nothing left.
I'm curious to see what Canelo does next.
Yeah. Again, there's nothing out there, son. There's nothing out there. And what Jake said at the end of that fight is he's 100% right. He is the money man. He got paid $40 million for that fight last night. $40 million, or the other night. He got paid $40 million for that. Tyson got paid $20 million. Son, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't argue with that. You can't argue. 65 million people watched the fight. You can't argue with that either. You can't argue with it, man. Right. He pulls in more than Davis, Crawford, Spence, Joshua, all of them. He pulls in more money. Canelo, he pulls in more viewers and more money. You got to give it to him, man. I'd rather Eubank than Paul. Yeah, I get it. I get that too, man. That's for sure. Let's Jake fight Mick Foley or Steven Seagal. I get it, man. I get it. But again, Canelo looking for a big payday. There's nobody out there. Nobody. He's not going to fight Better Beef. Better Beef will kill him.
I won't fight Better Beef.
He won't fight Better Beef. Bivol already beat him. There's nothing Canelo can do to beat Bivol. Nothing. Bivol's just better. It just is. He's just got the style to foil his. He's bigger, stronger, Yeah. All right, let's talk about the undercard here, because this is what kind of got people in. This, if you felt cheated by the main event, which I think a lot of people did, those two undercards, the Barrios fight and the Serrano fight, they did not feel cheated with. I'll tell you that.
I knew that card was going to be great. I told everyone that card was going to be fun.
Yeah.
It was a good
and
card.
I told everybody, I said Paul's going to win by decision. And I said the Serrano-Taylor fight is going to be fight of the night. That will be fight of the night. And man, it sure was. Let's see here. So Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano for Taylor's undisputed junior welterweight title. Katie Taylor beats Serrano once again, 95-94 on all cards. I had the fight 96-93 for Taylor. This was a good fight, man. Fight of the night. Maybe I'll be honest with you. I thought it might have been fight of the year.
Could be fight of the year, right?
I think it's definitely a candidate. If it's not, to me, it's fight of the year. Just my opinion, man. But these two went after each other, man. It was Taylor. Taylor for me was just a better boxer, just like the first fight.
Yeah, she's a better boxer.
More
weapons in the toolbox, because
yes,
Serrano is the come forward fighter. She kind of throws those bombs. I think she flails a little bit too a lot of times.
That's all she's got, though.
Yeah, she loads up with shots. She's more of a mid-range fighter.
Yeah.
Katie Taylor, she can fight from the outside, inside, mid-range. She's actually a pretty decent counterpuncher as well. That's where I think Katie ends up beating her, is because she's more versatile all around, whereas Serrano is that come forward mid-range person.
Yeah.
And in this fight too, Katie Taylor was landing the more eye-catching shots. You could see Serrano's head being snapped back. And even in the first round, I think Serrano landed a good shot, and the announcers went crazy. And they were acting like, oh, she hit her with a good shot, but she stopped her in her tracks for a split second. But Katie recovered very quickly. It wasn't like she was really, really hurt. What I think too is Katie may not be the biggest puncher in the world. And even Serrano at the higher weight, you could see that Katie could take the shots pretty well. But Katie's a lot stronger. And on the inside, she really out-muscled her and really roughed her up close. And I know people are going to talk about the headbutts, and a lot of people saying the headbutts were intentional. But, you got
I'll talk about that here in a minute. But, yeah, that's ridiculous. You got a southpaw and an orthodox. That happens. Yeah. You can't tell me you didn't know that was going to happen. Yeah. They're going to step on each other's feet. That's what happens.
And they're both coming in together. And so – and then when that point was taken away, I thought that was it was such an innocuous,
that was a bad
contact at that point.
Yeah, that was a bad deduction.
It was they didn't really make contact hard. It was just kind of like they grazed each other a little bit. And then the ref takes it, and that ref was really going crazy on Taylor. So
it was ridiculous. And what was going on with the ref? He was talking to them like they were like children or something like that.
Well, he was following Taylor back to the corner.
He was better from you, or
I expect nonsense. Better from you. Who the fuck are you, buddy? You expect better from me.
Are you crazy? Who do you think you're talking to?
What are you, my Sunday school teacher?
Right.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Break.
He was an idiot, that ref.
Yeah, he really was.
Takes a point away. It was ridiculous.
And let me tell you this, man. I thought that fight turned. I thought Serrano was winning that fight up until that cut. I thought that cut changed a lot of things, and I thought it changed Serrano's tactics. I thought it changed everything. But let me tell you this, man. Serrano, okay, so when Serrano got cut, that was a deep cut. It could have been stopped. Doctors went in and everything like that. They looked at it. I think they wanted to stop it. I think they really wanted to stop it. She wanted to go on. But let me ask you this, Beeb. Again, this is the corner being your ally instead of, your enemy here. Your corner says, go ahead, go on. Now, if they stop that fight, they go to the scorecards. Correct?
Yeah. But
is it on the Lee will know. Lee Groves will know. Sugar Lee
Groves
know.
After 4 rounds, they go to the scorecards. Yeah, after 4 rounds, they go to the scorecards.
Yeah, so on an unintentional butt.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you, though.
I thought, it was accidental. It was accidental or whatever.
Yeah, it was
they would have gone to the scorecards. She would have won. She wins that fight.
Well, I'm not sure because I after 4 I had it actually. I had Taylor winning 3-1 after 4.
Let me see
So
what I had it here.
you may. So I don't know. I don't know what you like. Could argue it was 2-2 or 3-1, in my opinion. How'd you have it after 4?
Let me see here.
Because we were pretty close. We had the same scorecard, but we got there in a different way.
39-37 at the end of 4 for Serrano.
Okay, so you had it.
Yeah.
You had it. What did you have it?
3-1.
See, I had it 3-1 the other way.
Yeah. And I had a 3-1 that way. And I'll tell you what, man, I thought that
See how the judges had it.
yeah, I wonder. Yeah.
Curious.
Because that's what I was like, why in the world are they not?
But in a fight like that too, Eric, you don't know if you're up or not because it looked like it was a close fight too. So they may not have known if they were up or not.
Yeah, that could be. That could be. But as your corner, that's kind of your job to know who wins the rounds and who doesn't, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I think they didn't stop it because they didn't know if they were up or not, and they didn't want to risk. They didn't want to risk like losing.
Yeah. Serrano's I can't stand Serrano's trainer.
Oh, I can't
stand her. I can't stand Serrano or her trainer.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Serrano. I think she's kind of I think she's fake.
Yeah, I think she's fake too, but I think her husband or whoever that trainer is just an airhead. We've seen him bully her opponents and stuff, telling them to quit, nonsense. And this one, he kept saying Taylor was
dirty and stuff.
She was a dirty fighter and blah blah. Just shut up. Just go away.
Just get out of here, bro.
I mean, really. I was shocked that fight wasn't stopped, though. I'll be honest. I was shocked, man.
I thought it was going to be stopped too, Eric, because the cut was bad and it just got even worse with the second headbutt.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And like I said, man, I thought that, and a lot of people had Serrano winning. I think Lee Groves had Serrano winning that fight. But I thought that
had Katie winning too, though.
I thought it was, and it wasn't a robbery. I know a lot of people called robbery, a lot of casuals and stuff called robbery. But yeah, it just, she was picking her off. And I'll tell you, like the punch stat, that's what Serrano goes on Twitter or whatever and starts crying the blues about how she lost and she landed 100 more punches. Listen, the outcome was the outcome. You lost
here's the thing,
fight,
Eric. Sometimes we look at CompuBox, both of us, and we'll say, that looks like an accurate representation of how the fight went. And other times we look at CompuBox and say, that doesn't really represent what we saw. And
then sometimes you look at CompuBox and you look at the De La Hoya Trinidad fight.
Yeah.
De La Hoya won the first 6 rounds. Trinidad won the next rounds.
Yeah.
And all the punches were landed in the beginning of the fight, not at the end of the fight.
Sure.
He just shelled up.
And
so, that happens.
Whoever was counting Serrano's punches, and this is just me, and maybe I'm skeptical on this one. 127 punches thrown in round 10, and she landed 73 of them. Watched round 10, and it didn't look like she hit Katie Taylor 73 times. Not that I was counting, but 73, landing 73 punches in a 2-minute round and throwing 127 punches, in a 2-minute round.
Yeah, I get it, man. And like I said, man, and Gavin's gonna say Serrano's a fake after all those wars. No, she's not.
No, personality is a fake.
She's a personality.
Like she says, "Oh, I don't own a cell phone. I've never been on a date before. I'm a virgin." No, I'm not buying it.
Right,
Sorry,
I'm not buying it either.
And then she's like pretends like she's like so nice and everything, and then she wants to play the diplomat on Twitter, but she's always taken she's always sneak this in people like in a very coy. Right.
Well, I thought she didn't have Twitter. That's the other thing. I thought she didn't do social media and all that.
Well, I go on Twitter on my tablet. I mean, so come on, stop. So
Serrano was the A side. I mean, if anybody, that JC brings up a huge.
Yeah, she was the A side. Eddie Hearn had nothing to do with
completely the A side here. So listen, man. The fact that she lost just said, hey, she lost. Nerd says Taylor equals jab and grab, headbutt, rinse, repeat. Nah, I don't think so.
I'm not buying that either.
Omar Rodriguez, come on. What's the matter with
Let
you?
me
Show
buddy,
some respect.
please.
Show some respect.
This isn't Pornhub.
Come on. Oh my gosh. All right. So, like I said, I had Taylor winning. Beeb had Taylor winning. A lot of people had it the other way, but I think the right one won.
Maestro had Taylor winning. D-Style
Yeah.
had Taylor winning. A lot of people on Twitter had Taylor winning. Like you know, you're gonna get all types of scorecards. This was one of those fights where it's gonna kind of be like kind of split down the middle. I think.
Yeah. I think so. I don't want to see a third fight. We've already seen it twice. Outcome was the same both times. We don't need to see it again. So there we go. But I tell you what, that was a showcase fight. That really was a showcase fight.
It was
out of this, out of this whole thing. And that's what we both said. Mario Barrios versus Abel Ramos, 12 rounds for Barrios' WBC welterweight title. This was definitely in contention for fight of the night before the ladies' fight.
That's right.
Barrios and Ramos went the distance here. Fight scored a draw, 114-112 Ramos, 116-110 for Barrios, and 113 all. Listen, man, I didn't score the fight, but the draw sounded reasonable. It looked pretty reasonable. Barrios, I don't know what it is. He loses every big fight he's in. Go look at his record. The only big fight he won was the Ugas fight. He loses every big fight he's in. Yeah. He was in complete control of this fight, and Ramos was able to turn the tide. He was in so much control that he could have got Ramos out of there. And something clicks. I don't know what but that's a mental thing. It's not a physical thing with him because he's got all the tools. There's something mental there. There's some kind of block there that doesn't let him finish fights.
He's just so up and down. Like sometimes he's just like looks phenomenal. Other times he he'll have like a not so great night,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
thing. We know the guy can fight.
Yeah.
The guy can fight, but sometimes he just gets a little bit lax in there. Like he loses focus for a split second and
and what do you?
The fight turns on him sometimes.
Yeah, and that's a mental thing. That's not something you're going to fix in the gym. That's something he's got to fix outside the gym. Yeah, I don't know where that limitation comes in. I don't know what happens to him. Something happens to him. Something clearly happens to him.
If you're a Conor Benn, you see vulnerabilities there. So if you want to fast track Conor Benn to a title shot, that's the guy you go after. That's a no-brainer to me. Mario Barrios versus Conor Benn, no?
I think that's a good fight. I think that's a good fight.
If I'm moving Conor Benn and I'm trying to get him into a title shot, this is the guy that I put him in with.
I agree. Megan says that, or Megan, I'm just going to say Megan. This guy with the microphone could be Jake's next opponent. Is he over 50? We're both over 50. And let me tell you what,
50.
You throw me that kind of money, I'll be Jake's next opponent. No problem. I heard he was fighting Jimmy Carter next, though, but that's just
whoa.
That's what I heard, man. That's what I heard. Jake Paul, Jimmy Carter's next. That's what I heard, man. I don't want to see Barrios and Boots now. Yeah, I don't want to see that either.
Boots is going to 154, man.
Yeah.
He's making that jump.
He's moving up anyway.
It's about time, too.
Yeah, I agree. Bruce Shushu Carrington versus Dana Coolwell, 8 rounds featherweights. Shushu dominated 80-70 in all 3 cards. I tell you what, I was really happy about this fight too. I'm happy he got the opportunity to be on this card because I think he's a really good up and comer. I think he's a good fighter. And again, man, Taylor Serrano. I mean, that was how many millions watched them, and then Mario Barrios and Abel Ramos. You know what I mean? And all these undercard guys got a lot of shine, which was awesome to see. It really was. Because they you know what? They did what they were supposed to do. They put on good fights, especially when that main event could be, not so exciting. These guys really picked it up, and they gave you the undercard gave you your money's worth there.
Of course,
no question about it, man.
And let's be clear, this was not pay-per-view. It was on Netflix, so it's hard to complain.
And Netflix, it is pay-per-view.
Sure.
But most people got Netflix anyway.
Yeah, most people have it.
Except maybe Jerry, who probably can't afford it. But most people have it, DAZN in Saudi. Gilberto Ramirez versus Chris Billam-Smith for Ramirez's WBA cruiserweight title and Smith's WBO cruiserweight title. Beeb, this was good, but it was close. It was a good fight.
Yeah.
Roberto Ramirez wins a unanimous decision, 116-112 twice, and 116-113. Give me
Chris
your thoughts on
Billums,
this fight, man.
yeah, Chris Billum Smith had a hard time here because Ramirez at this weight is pretty quick at cruiserweight. It's not like at 168, 175 where he wasn't the fastest guy. Ramirez who's outmaneuvering Billum Smith. He's got quick feet, like I said. He would get inside and he would kind of turn him, and he would throw quick combinations, and he would really get some good work off on the inside, which I think he had the advantage. Billum Smith needed the space, but it's hard keeping Gilberto Ramirez, on the outside. And when he got inside, he was moving his hands, right? He was really getting off first on the inside.
Yeah.
And after he threw his combinations, he really was like turning them and stepping around them. And he wasn't, standing straight in front of him. And I just think Billum Smith had a hard time countering and keeping up with the work rate of Gilberto Ramirez. I just thought he got outmaneuvered on the inside and he got outworked on the inside.
Yeah.
And plus he got that head. There's another headbutt in this fight too. And it wasn't a pretty gash at all. It wasn't like similar to the Serrano. It wasn't as bad as that Serrano cut, but you could tell that this cut was nothing nice either, and it was troubling Billum Smith. But I figured Ramirez would outwork Billum Smith. I thought he was the quicker, as I said, the quicker guy, better at putting shots together, and just a more voluminous guy, particularly on the inside. And I thought that he would outwork and kind of grind out a unanimous decision victory here, which he did. But the fight was competitive in spots. But second half of the fight, that's where you saw Ramirez separate himself from Billum Smith. So it was very hard fought, clear cut victory, hard fought, clear cut victory.
Yeah, good fight, man. Good fight.
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez versus Arnold Barbosa. Barbosa wins a unanimous decision over Ramirez, 96-94 twice and 97-93.
Yeah. Ramirez just hasn't ever looked the same after that Josh Taylor fight. It seemed like something got taken out of him. Then when he was supposed to, I believe he was supposed to fight for a title as well. He was supposed to fight Jose Zepeda instead of Prograis, but then he got married instead. And I don't want to be an asshole, but I'm sitting there saying to myself, you couldn't kind of work around, like reschedule your wedding. I mean, this is a title shot you got going.
Title shot.
I mean, your wife. I mean, if your wife wouldn't understand if you just say, hey, this is going to benefit us. This is putting food on the table. This belt, if I win this belt, which I believe he would have beat Jose Zepeda, you're never going to get an opportunity like that. The stars are not going to line up like that perfectly, like they did for that situation. So instead of you being the guy to beat Zepeda, with all due respect, you had Prograis being able to do that. So I just think that was a bad move. And then I think he was offered to, a fight with Tio. He turned that down, and he just looked flat in this fight. Barbosa was really getting off first. Once again, another guy who had the speed on his side, and Ramirez just was a step behind him all night. He was trying to cut off the ring. He was trying to track him down, but Barbosa would not stand still for him. He would pot shot him from the outside and the mid range, and Ramirez was just following him around all night, and he was walking into shots. So where does Ramirez go from here? I'm not so sure. I think he's a big guy at 140. He's like 5'10". He looked really dry, in the ring. He looked like he was drawn. I heard he had problems making the 140. He may have to go up to 147. And again, if Boots goes up to 154 and he goes up to 147, that division's wide open again. So, Ramirez versus a guy like, he could fight a Conor Benn. He could fight a Mario Barrios, right? So that may have to be the move for him, because I do not believe he can make 140 pounds comfortably anymore.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. William Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer, 12 rounds lightweight. Zepeda wins a razor-thin decision over Farmer, 95-94 twice and 95-94 for Farmer, split decision. William Zepeda, who's he fighting next? I'm trying to think of, I know I heard that he's going to, Who's he fighting next?
Well, they were saying they want to put him in there with Shakur, but
that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah.
No way he beat Shakur. No way.
Well, after seeing this fight, it doesn't look promising for him to take. I didn't see anything yesterday that would lead me to believe that he could beat Shakur. Tevin Farmer was really countering him with that left hand, that sneaky left hand all night. Zepeda did come back, as the fight went on. He did come back. He shifted into second gear, and he was really going to the body. He was really, fighting aggressively on the inside. He became, as the fight wore on, he seemed to be getting stronger. He seemed to be getting his second win. And this guy is amazing. One thing about Zepeda that's amazing is, as the fight wears on, he becomes more energetic. His activity becomes greater. He increases the intensity as the rounds go on. Instead of most fighters get tired in the later rounds, this guy becomes invigorated and he just turns it up. Yeah. And he turned it up in this fight. And to Tevin Farmer's credit, he hung in there, but it's just hard. Like Tevin Farmer, when he would try to fight Zepeda on the inside. And again, Zepeda is a pressure guy. He's a stalker type, right? He's a swarmer. It's hard to keep him on the outside, for long. And Tevin Farmer just had to grit down in his teeth, and he had to say, you know what, I'm going to have to fight him on the inside because I can't keep moving the whole night because this guy's he's going to keep tracking me down. And he was getting a little bit wise to the counter left hand. He made some adjustments with that. But shout out to Tevin Farmer. He hung in there. This was a very competitive fight. It's a close fight, split decision. So, this is something you got to look at if you're Zepeda, and you got to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. Oscar Colazo versus knockout CP Freshmart. Not his real name, but that's what they do. I think it was a tie. I think somebody said it was a tie fighters. The tie fighters do that.
Yeah.
They just kind of adopt it and take it through their career. Yeah. Anyway, Colazo wins 7th round TKO. Freshmart is 34 years old, and he weighs 105 pounds. Beeb, that's got to be difficult. That's got to be difficult to keep that weight at 34.
I think I weighed 105 pounds when I was in kindergarten.
Right?
Maybe even more than that. Beeb was big when he was a kid.
Man, like 105 pounds though at 34, like that's old, man, and that's old for the lighter weights and everything. That's ancient. So hats off to him. He's still fighting at a top level, but yeah.
I remember watching fights like 105 pounds, 112 pounders. And my ex-girlfriend, she's like 118 pounds. She's like, these guys are smaller than me. How are they even fighting? It's the weight class, honey. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, right. There you go. UFC last night, just real quick, Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Jon Jones beat Stipe via 3rd round TKO. It was a spinning back kick that did the damage. Listen, man, Stipe got this fight. He's been out for 3 years, hasn't fought in 3 years, and is 43 years old.
Wow.
I mean, what do we expect? And Jon Jones, I'll be honest with you, everybody claimed how great he looked last night. He looked old, and he looked slow, and he looked like he's slipping. Tom Aspinall, I guess Tom Aspinall is going to be the next for him. Aspinall, from what I understand, is already favored in that fight. So, yeah, he didn't look good. All right, let's go to let's bring Ringside Robert on here. Give me 2 seconds. Maybe. Robert, you're live.
Hello, guys.
Bobby? How you doing, Bobby?
Hello, guys.
Did you watch the Tyson fight?
First of all, talking about, I did.
What'd you think of it?
I did. I thought Paul clearly won. I didn't think Mike could do much. 58 years old. I think whoever was scoring for the TV people, they was generous in giving him 2 rounds. Because at one point of the fight, I think he only landed 16 or 18 punches. I had it a clear shutout for Paul.
Robbie, you don't even land 16 punches when you're hitting the heavy bag. Stop talking. What are you talking about?
Anyway, But seriously, most of Paul's fights have been in the cruiserweight division. Joe, do you think he could seriously? I know this was fought at heavyweight. Do you think he could go down to cruiserweight division and be competitive in that division with any of the champions?
I don't think so, Robbie.
What did you drink the Kool-Aid, Robert? No, he can't be competitive.
I don't think
No, I'm look.
You think he's competitive with
Listen,
Zerto Ramirez?
Robbie's a fair guy. He's trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Come on.
He's trying to give him the benefit of the
Don't
doubt.
tell me
He's
you
a
fell
fair
for this,
guy.
man. Come on.
He's a fair guy, Robbie.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, I'm trying to be. Look, I would if he's going to do a serious boxing career, I would like him.
Boxing career. He's trying to make money, Robbie. He's
I would
trying
like
to do these showcase fights, Robbie.
I would like him to establish himself in a single division and really try to compete in it. And I don't think he'll ever win a title, but he says he wants to be a champion. Well, then he needs to climb the rankings like all the other fighters.
Robbie, let me ask you a question. If you're Jake Paul, and you can be in big events like this and put yourself in virtually zero risk situations, are you really going to fight it?
Right.
Are you really going to go out there and try and fight a champion?
No, if your goal, Joe, is to make money, then no.
Okay.
But he keeps talking about but Eric, you understand my point. He keeps talking about wanting to be a champion, right?
Robbie,
Who, Jake Paul? Jake,
Robbie,
he's talking.
I got a news flash. Robbie, I got a news flash for you. When people say things, you don't have to believe every word they say. When I go on dates, I tell girls I love them.
I'm not believing
that doesn't mean I really love a girl.
Beeb said it's love at first sight too, man. Beeb's
when
like
I'm
all
spitting
about
game
it.
to the honey dips, I tell them a lot of things that aren't true.
Yeah. And I've seen it firsthand.
Hopefully
too.
they're not watching the show right now, which they probably aren't. But that's that's how it is. You don't believe every word that comes out of somebody's mouth, Robbie.
Yeah, he wants to fight.
I didn't say I.
Is it realistic,
Yeah,
Robert? Let me ask you this: is it realistic to have Canelo and Jake Paul? Is that a realistic fight to make?
No, that's another problem, Eric. What weight class would it be in?
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares what weight class? Let him come in 300 pounds. I don't care.
Probably it'll probably be a cruiserweight, Robbie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? If Canelo really wants to make money, let's face it, he's not fighting anybody important these days. Why not go after the Paul money and see if you could collect $200 or $300 million?
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, that if he wants to make money, that's the money fight. That's a big money fight. Because like I said, man, where else is he going to get that at?
They're talking about putting Canelo in a stadium in the UK to fight
Chris Eubank
Jr.
Oh, don't say it. Oh no, not you. That's where he's gonna. That's the next fight. Eubank Jr.
Yeah,
it's awful.
That'll be the next fight. I agree, Eric. Chris Eubank hasn't done anything to earn that shot. I mean.
Well, the only thing he's done is he provides zero risk. That's an act. That's something he brings to the table.
And that's going to be Canelo's next fight.
I think so.
They're going to put it in a stadium in the UK, and that'll be his May fight.
I believe so.
There you go. All right, Robert, we're going to put you on hold. And
all right.
Did you just say get rid of him?
No,
how dare you? How dare you?
I said have a nice day. Have a nice day.
718. I think this is New York. 718. You're live.
What's going on, guys?
What's happening, man?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
This is Raphael from New York.
Raphael, there we go, man. How are you?
Hola.
Good. I thought this was an amazing event. Honestly, I highly enjoy it. I thought it gave boxing a really good eye. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor ended up making the biggest payday they have ever made. I think they made about $7 million apiece. I think Mario Barrios made about $3 million. So, I mean, for all those people complaining that this was a spectacle and all this and that, I think that boxing has done this to itself, and they've kind of like let Jake Paul walk in practically open-handed and just kind of like became the face of boxing by himself, because all these fighters, number one, they don't know how to brand and promote themselves, even though they're good fighters. And B, they don't want to fight anyone. They just want to pretty much put obstacles upon one another. If it's not them, it's the promotional company. It's you don't do any views. Who did you fight? It becomes one excuse after another. So I'm pretty glad Jake right now is doing his thing, but this just pretty much puts a spotlight on the state of boxing right now. It's not about who's the best. It's about who can bring the most eyeballs into boxing. That's practically my opinion about this whole thing with Jake and Tyson.
Yeah, I agree.
Seems like the bar has been lowered.
Yeah, but a lot of people. But again, man, a lot of people watch this.
Yeah,
and those are guys. Where are those chicks going to make that kind of money? OnlyFans. That's it. Except for on this undercard right here, my man Jake Paul gave him a shot. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know. Jake Paul's from Ohio. Just saying, Titletown side.
But he moved to Puerto Rico.
Son, I can't help what he does. Yeah. He put Ohio on the map, son.
I can't help what he does. I can't help what he does.
He found love in Puerto Rico. I can't hate that.
I think Jake is doing wonders for the sport. And I pray and hope that Canelo does take the matchup, because that would just stamp and legitimize how much of a fraud he is. Yeah. That's my call, guys. I hope you guys have a good night.
All right, Rafael. Man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Strong Island, New York, 516. You're live.
Jesse, what up, guys?
Hey,
Freak!
Paul versus
Freak!
Paul versus Tyson, man. I don't know. I was let down by. I psyched myself out thinking that Tyson was going to go in there and swing to the fences and we would see a knockout. There was obviously a mutual understanding of respecting the legend, but I don't want to host a fight party to watch that main event. But with that being said, the undercard was amazing. Serrano got robbed. Let me ask you guys.
You knew he was going to say that.
I don't.
Newsflash: the Puerto Rican fight fan is
Jesse Rican going with Amanda Serrano. Yeah, right. Exactly.
You already filled the scorecard out 10 rounds to 0 before the fight even started. Please.
Steve, I know how you scored it, but let me, because I follow you on Twitter. But let me ask this: how was she not leading with the head?
I thought both of them were coming forward, though.
They're going to clash heads. It just happens. That stuff happens. If she's leading with her head, she's coming in.
I'm gonna explain this, Jesse. This is just let me just say something, Jesse. If you're a boxer, right? If you're a boxer, and when people say, "Oh, this guy's leading, this person's leading with their head," when you do that, you run the risk of cutting your own head. Right. Why would you want to damage yourself by, like, when you headbutt somebody, you're hurting yourself too. You're cutting yourself too. Like, that's not something that's like fun to do. Like, you don't hit it, train in the gym, working the pads. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3. Like you don't train to do that. That's two people coming forward, and their heads are just gonna clash. So, a lot of people are saying what you're saying right now. That's their opinion. I just respectfully disagree with it. Katie,
underwater?
I mean,
what is going on with his phone? It's like
105
underwater.
Come on, he's from Strong
Yeah,
Island, man. You know
my
how
bad,
it is
man.
out there.
I'm just saying.
He's in the
What,
concrete
go
jungle,
in the tunnel?
man.
I mean, what is he in the tunnel
He's
now?
in the
What is he
concrete
doing?
jungle, man. That's how they roll down. That's how we roll in the East Coast. Go ahead,
Did you
Jeff.
say the country jungle?
Concrete jungle, I said.
Oh, the concrete jungle. I thought you said the country
You don't
jungle.
know nothing about
What?
that. You're in the
What are you talking
boondocks.
about that?
You're in the boondocks. Get out of here.
You're some pampered little suburban dude. What do you know about it?
Buddy, I'm from the Four Corners region.
Uh,
Go ahead, Jesse.
Virgil Ortiz versus Ennis Boots. I'm hearing. I like Virgil
fight.
Ortiz in that fight.
It's a good fight.
I hope
Ennis.
it gets made.
And it's dog walks Ortiz.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually shocked that Eric put up the title. I don't know if he did it in jest, but right now I'm saying Serrano versus Taylor is the 2024 fight of the year.
No, I agree.
You know,
I agree with you.
I thought you were
good fight.
trolling with the title.
No, I agree. I really do. I really do. I thought it was a good fight.
No one believes you when you say you like women. Like if it's a good women's fight because you're always shitting on the women's boxing.
yeah,
I told D-Style you scored the fight same as me. I told D-Style, Eric, you scored the fight the same as me. You know what he says? He goes, "Oh, Eric scored the fight. I thought he hates women's boxing." I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jerry.
Jerry.
Jesse.
He called
Jesse.
you Jerry.
No,
son.
you're good, man. There is mad cards
Take that
past
from
to
him,
me.
Jesse.
So if I could just wait on the line while you guys finish up the show and let me listen in.
Sounds good.
I'll
All right,
appreciate
Jesse.
it.
Put you on hold. 805, Ventura County, California. You're live.
Hey, what's up, guys? Long time no hear.
Hey, what's up, man?
Is this Nacho?
Yeah, of course it is.
Nothing much.
Nacho, baby.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm proud of you. You just rolled
just
right
really-
in. I didn't have to say wake up to you this time. You went
Stop
right
it.
in. You went right in.
Stop it, B. What's the matter with
Just
you?
really quick.
Go ahead.
I'm just really quick. Any of these so-called suckers that actually bought that fight and believed it was a real fight, they deserve what they get. I mean, anybody who thought that a 58-year-old man was going to be able to turn back the clock and do something was out of their mind. So, you get what you pay for with that one. I mean, the rest of the card was decent. It wasn't nothing where you were like, oh my God, like Serrano-Taylor was probably the best fight out of all of the other fights. I mean, Barrios, I hate to say it, Barrios is terrible. He's probably the weakest champ at 47.
But I tell you.
And anybody who gets him that can actually punch is going to beat him and take that
Conor
title
Ben
from
beats
him.
him? You think Conor Ben can beat him?
Yeah,
think
I
Conor
think
Ben
it's
can beat him?
possible.
I think he can. I think he can. Yeah, I think he's a very live dog against Barrios, to be honest with you. If Abel Ramos can do that to you, then I mean, I would hate to see what a guy like Conor Ben would do, you know? So, and then just really quick on the card yesterday, regarding William Zepeda, I mean, yeah, you guys had, you brought up a good point that Farmer actually sat down on his punches and he had to actually, fight because there was no way he was going to be able to keep Zepeda if he just tried to stick and move. But my question to you, both of you guys, is this. Coming off of a hand surgery and having watched his last few fights, what makes you guys think, honestly, that Shakur is actually going to sit down in the pocket at any point in that fight and actually trade with this kid? I genuinely don't believe he's going to do that if the fight happens.
No, he won't do that. He won't do that.
No.
I originally said to myself, I think Zepeda would beat Shakur, but I don't know, man. I didn't like how he looked yesterday. Now, maybe you could say that was maybe an off night, or maybe
Zepeda's not beating Shakur. I don't care how good he looks. He's not beating Shakur.
I always thought that the volume and the pressure would be a problem for Shakur, but
it ain't gonna be a problem at all.
But now I'm having second thoughts about that. What do you think, Notch? You think Zepeda has a shot against Shakur?
I think he does, Beeb, only because, like I was saying, Farmer actually stood there and fought the guy off.
So your argument
Whereas
is,
Shakur,
he won't
around the
fight
ring.
the same way. He won't fight the same way as Farmer.
Yeah, he's not going to fight the same way.
I got you.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I'm saying that. I think that's why I'm saying I don't think Shakur is such a huge favorite as some people are trying to make it sound like. The guy has to actually want to sit down on his punches, you know? So, but that's just me. And then just really quick on a couple of the other fights. Colazo, what a performance by that little dude. He's been kind of like a little hidden gem that not too many people know about, and he kind of got his coming out party last night, beating up on Freshmark, who had held that belt for I don't know how many years. So, like, good for him that he's going to start to get, a little bit more notoriety. It just kind of stinks that there's not a lot of big names in that division for him in order for him to really become a star, because I think the kid can fight. I think he's probably the best guy they've had in those weight classes since Ivan Calderon. So, I mean, it's the kid is good, and I think he just needs the right opposition to keep proving it. And with Zurdo Billum Smith, it's funny. A lot of people really thought Billum Smith was going to go in there and get Zurdo, but I felt like Zurdo was just going to, outbox him like he had the guy that he beat in his last fight for the BC title. And he did the exact same thing last night, and he probably did it even better against Billum Smith. He made him look so out of sorts. He had no idea what the hell was going on, and that was an unbelievable boxing lesson he put on him. So good for Zurdo to unify. Let me ask you this, Beeb. Does he have a legit shot, Zurdo, against Opataya?
I'll be honest. I think he does. I think I would definitely favor Opataya, but he's.
I like that fight though. I love that fight.
He's pretty quick at cruiserweight. He's got fast feet, and the thing is, I just think he's a really good inside fighter, and I think if he crowds Opataya. Even Breedis kind of made that fight uncomfortable for Opataya in the second half because he crowded him and he kind of didn't give him space to punch. And Ramirez is really good at cutting down that distance and getting it on the inside and really grinding it out on the inside. So it's definitely a very, very intriguing fight in my opinion. Like I said, I would favor Opataya, but I do think Ramirez has a shot in that fight. I don't think it's a long shot.
Yeah, so he's a live dog. Yeah, I think so too. I think he's a live dog as well. All right, guys. Well, I'll let you guys get back to it. That was my call.
All right, Nacho.
Later.
Good call.
All right, man. Be good.
All right, let's go to the upcoming fights here. So November 23rd, I think is that Saturday, Beeb? Friday or Saturday? I don't know. It's one of those.
I think so. Let me see.
It doesn't matter.
It's a Saturday, actually. Yep.
All right. So from Paris on ESPN Plus, Bakary Samake versus Wade Ryan, 12 rounds junior middleweights. Who's putting on this card? I mean, really, who's putting on we're going to ESPN Plus and we're going to watch this? Like, really? Come on, man. I don't know who's putting it on. I'm not watching it. It is what it is. We don't really have a big fight until December 7th, we got Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez. November 30th, though, we got a pretty good one. Sonny Edwards versus Galaya Fai. That's a good one. That's a good one. What else is coming up here?
Hitchinson versus Liam
Paro. Yeah, that's on the 7th.
Yeah.
And when is the 21st is the one in Saudi Arabia, the big one?
It's Fury versus Usyk, the rematch.
What a Christmas present. Yeah, ESPN is mailing in with those cards. Yeah, Blue Tang, I couldn't agree more. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, that's a good fight. That's what a Christmas present that'll be, huh?
Yeah.
There you go. News and rumors, just a few here. Just a few tidbits here. Let's see. We got Turki Al-Sheikh bought Ring Magazine for $10 million, Beeb.
Wow.
$10 million. And he said he's going to put it back in print.
That's kind of a crazy thing.
I mean,
that's kind of weird.
When you got so much money, you know what I'm saying? Like, you take a shot, what are you going to do, man? Nobody reads print anymore, but I don't know.
See what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Good for him, man. Hope it works out for him. This is great, man. David Benavidez and David Morrell. They're working on, I think it's set. I'm not 100% sure, but it's targeted for February 1st at T-Mobile. That's a good fight.
Yeah.
That's a good fight. And
Can't
I
sit
favor
can't sit there and wait
Benavidez in
around.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And again, he's not getting that fight. He's not getting that Canelo fight.
Oh, he's not getting a Canelo fight.
No way he's getting that fight. So, yeah, man. So I think him and Morrell, that's a good fight.
It's a good
Very
fight.
good fight.
For both guys.
Guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at JHabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com, and you can find me on X at ringside73. Guys, we will catch you next week.